Okay, this is Russ Hyder from the Joey Cat Institute again, and we're going to be dealing now with a hummingbird pendant that was made by a client. And we had the eLUXE 3D scan the items so that we can scale it different sizes. The customer didn't want anything but exactly this shape. So we thought it would be a good idea to have eLUXE3D go ahead and scan it so instead of trying to remake this. So if you look at this, it came in and it's got a ton of data in here. And you can kind of see that this was probably made from a wax to begin with a long time ago by some of this hollowing out that was done. But it's rather a nice piece. And as we look at this, coming around, you can kind of see it is three-dimensional all the way around. It's got the lines cut in for the wings and a hoop for a chain and etc. etc. Okay, so the object here is to get it centered. So we did that, got it centered, and we actually want to make this three-dimensionally smaller. Now the client wanted it at 75% of its size originally, which this is. Okay, this is 100% on this hummingbird. And he wants a 75%. He also wants 60%. And the reason why is I believe they just wanted a different size pendant. And then they also wanted to make some earrings out of this. So the object is to scale that in 3 dimension without it getting too thin for casting or mold making, etc. So what we attempted to do here was to go to the transform menu, and we'll go to 3D scale, and it says select the objects to scale. We'll just window over the hummingbird, hit enter. Then it wants to know the origin point. We want to make sure that this was centered, okay, and we had already done that. I'll back out of this just for now. Go ahead and recenter it. So utilities, center object, XYZ, we'll center it, and it already was. Okay, so let's take this 3D scale, origin point F4, and our reference factor. Now all you need to do is type in, we know that 100% will leave it the same size, okay, or 1.0. But if we type in 0.75 and hit enter, you'll see it shrink down to 75% of its original size. So therefore you'd go ahead and I'll just go here and make a hummingbird type job bag thing here, and I'll just save it at that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that in a job bag. Okay, then I'm going to undo that. Instead of trying to take it from 75 to 60, I'm just going to undo that. Then we're going to repeat the 3D scale. Origin point is F4 or 0, 0, 0. We're going to type in 0.60 and hit enter. And that's going to shrink it down to that far. Now the important things to watch here are how thin or thick we are getting these things so that we can go ahead and make sure we can get a rubber mold of that. And that looks pretty good even at 60%. Okay, so if we look at this millimeter wise, it looks pretty good here as far as for earrings. That's about what, maybe 15 millimeters from here to here, and maybe 12 millimeters from here to there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put that in a job bag, and then I'm going to undo that. Okay, now here comes the fun part. How are you going to support this to grow these hummingbirds? Well, what we did is find an angle that we could deal with, that we would start putting our support system to so that nothing would be missed. Now the object here is to bring in a plane. I always do this to check and see if we've got items that are going to be below what I call where it needs to be supported. So let's get large in perspective. Okay, and we want to drag this plane down here to see where you'd start supporting this. Now if I left it in that position, obviously these two parts and this part are sticking through the plane. Those definitely have to be supported, all right, first. So we'd want to put something here, and we'd want to put something here or here, if that's the way we're going to do it. Okay, and then from there you'd start supporting all the way up, and you'd start seeing anything that pokes through that plane needs to be supported. Okay, all right, so let's get rid of the plane, and I've already got this at 100%. I'm just going to put it in here, and I'm going to go open a file, and I'm going to show you how we supported this, so you get kind of an idea why we did it this way, etc. Okay, now you're going to see these guys, and here's all of them that are 60, 75%, and 100%. So what we did was we took and flipped the hummingbird around, so we thought this would be the best way to support it. And if you look at this, you can see we went up from the wing to here to support the jump ring apparatus to hold by chain, and so forth and so on along the edges of the wings, because these were lower parts. Okay, and then also here. All right, so once you do that, you get them all supported, you can take and bring this back, and you want to make sure, if you're going to grow all these at once, you're going to just draw a line here and make sure that all these particular platforms are on that particular line, and you bring them down. You just need to make sure they're all at the same level, because when you grow this piece, if say one of these guys is a little off like that, these two are going to grow and this guy will not grow. You'll have parts of him floating around in the resin or whatever. All right, so I'd undo that. So that's what we did, and we sent this off to the client. Remember, these are just nothing but meshes, and to prove that, you need to go into your tools and of course make sure this is passing fine. Each one of them, make sure you get a good pass fail. Okay, and then we'll go to find out what this is, and it'll tell you mesh valid closed, and all of them are going to say the same thing, so really it's not necessary. You just want to make sure you got a good file. Mesh valid closed. All right, so I'd go ahead and reset that, and you'll see that these are now in conjunction with each other. And when I reset, it basically brought out one that was hidden, or actually two of them. Sorry about that, because they were still with this file. Okay, there you go. That's how you do it. And you know, we had enough thickness. What I was concerned about basically is our thickness of these pieces here. And if you know, go in and check this out, you can kind of see that these would make it just fine. We did hear back from the client. They were perfectly happy with these. They thought the scan was fantastic, and the repeat of the actual original design that was made in silver is now in a scan for them. And they went ahead and grew these, cast them, and made rubber molds of them. So now they still have their original 100%, 75%, and 60%. There you have it.